You know, we love highlighting people in the DMV doing incredible work. Today's story takes us to Alexandria. Adam Longo introduces us to W.E.A.R, a student group at Thomas Jefferson High School. They're working to tell the stories of the many impactful women who've been left out of history books, creating lesson plans so younger kids can get the education they never had.
W.E.A.R stands for Women for Education, Advocacy, and Rights. Essentially, it was created to write women back into history. That was the main goal. Fight gender equality through unique ways, through student-led approach.
This one writing women back into history textbooks. For W.E.A.R's founder, Priscilla Padmanabhan, this mission is personal.
Ever since I was little, I've always known that it was a problem. It's one of those things that, I would get really excited when I saw women in a textbook or in a lesson, and I would just be so excited to tell my mom all about it.
Documenting the past with an eye to the future.
As I grew up, I saw that lack of education around women's history was manifesting as sexism and misogyny. People were, directly attacking women's rights now. And it went from just people thinking that, women's history doesn't matter to wanting to repeal the 19th Amendment, which is what really sparked my interest or more anger in 9th grade and made me really decide that I wanted to do something like this. Great.
Priscilla is now a senior. She started the group in August of 2020. Students work together to design lesson plans through slide decks, group discussions, mini books, and more. They share the impact of women whose stories were left out of history books in Fairfax schools until now. We
began working with FCPS and their curriculum specialists and staff, and essentially we took the curriculum day by day and went, where are the women? How can we include them into each of these days and make sure it's not just okay, we talked about, one woman and then we moved on.
W.E.A.R's lesson plans are taught in elementary schools across Fairfax County. They've tackled the Civil War, highlighted figures like Susie King Taylor, the first black nurse in the American Civil War, and women on both sides of the war who disguised themselves as men to join the fight.
Growing up, I had a very big and common misconception about women's history, which is that I figured the reason that I didn't read or hear about any women in my history classes was because women were oppressed and didn't really have the capabilities to do anything. I felt really motivated and compelled to helping other people avoid that same misconception that I had about women's history.
Becca Jeffries is a senior at Thomas Jefferson. She runs W.E.A.R's website, and Becca says the learning runs both ways.
One of my favorite parts of writing that educational material is that I get to learn alongside with all the students that our material goes out to. Probably one of my favorites is that we did a series of mini books on Indigenous women that had pretty big contributions to American history.
This year, W.E.A.R wants to bring others on board. Their executive board is opening applications for other students who want to start a chapter at their schools. W.E.A.R's leaders are in agreement. Expanding classrooms' scope of history is part of a larger cause.
Our overall goal at W.E.A.R is to fight for gender equality, but one of our main ways of doing so is by using education, because to me, education is just the most important tool possible.
I mean, I really do think that learning about the past illuminates the present, and it's just really important to learn about these women, to understand the role of women in the past and the role of women today.
First of all, thank you, Adam, for bringing us that story. And that's something I feel strongly about for women throughout history, dealing with a lot of the indignities that have been associated with being in some of the spaces that they've had to infiltrate in order to make our lives better. And then also to be forgotten by history is insult to history and insult to us all. And so for these young students, not only to research that history for themselves, but to make it better for others is admirable. So I tip my cap to all the young ladies of W.E.A.R. These students are incredible. You can learn more by checking out their website. That link is on your screen right now.